Well, hello out there, everybody. We're back, and we're talking about power-ups in the DrBossKey prototype. So we've got quite a few kind of experiments we're doing here. Dimitri, thank you for turning around the designs. Since we looked at the last round of designs, which I should probably pull up here. Let's see here. 1 second. Over onto the Trellos. Yeah, so the... Okay, so the previous round designs, we kind of did a version of coloration. So here's what those look like. And then design and shape. So we've got a little bit more of this sort of, they're going to be more on the metallics than the bones and grayscale, but that's kind of the sort of thinking there. So taking that, Dimitri, I put a version of those into the engine, and I've been looking for the right resolution, right? So because I do want them to be animated, so I did a couple tests there, but I also, as you can see here with this one here, like it's got a 2-frame animation. We can't afford too many frames animation because it's all texture memory at the end of the day. And the other big part of this is initially we were going with these concepts where they were essentially letters to represent the weapons, but I think the what's changed since then is that we have too many weapons, which is a good thing. So the design right now for our main ship, as you can tell right here, is that you got a weapon here, you've got a weapon here, and a weapon here. And I'm thinking about all these as in weapon sets. And when I start to break all the weapons down into essentially their just the first letters, yeah, you could probably use 2 letters, but I think it's harder for players to understand what they're getting. And since you can't go back after you pick up a weapon power up, I want them to be a lot more memorable just out of the gate. So to give you an example, so this here is the golden shotgun spread. That thing is pretty dope. I'm enjoying that. But right now, so we have weapons like the homing missile stall, homing missile slow. We got this thing called the laser field, which is going to be sweet. Laser bar, it's like a fire bar. Linked loop laser fires back and forth. We got demon wheels. We got endless laser chain. So we've got quite a few weapons that are sort of in its player medium weapon, which are going to be kind of automatic firing. This is the falling missile. We got some V-shot, plasma stasis. We got this triple ball charge up thing. And so what I'm noticing, right? So I also we have like the Gatling shot, basic energy, Gatling gun spread, Gatling homing laser. So you can take a look at those. Yeah. Before I get too far into it. There we go. So, you know, it's still working on the graphics for some of these things, but thinking about different styles of play. So what that's led me to is that the power-ups need to be readable, and the letters themselves are nice, but they're all abbreviated for things, and we have quite a few like lasers. So then trying to do chain lasers, CL, people aren't going to remember that as easily. So, and because right now, if I counted these up, we have 16 main weapon slots times 3, so that gives us 48 kind of weapon combinations, and I'm still putting together the combinations. But that all that is a long way of getting to the point where the text needs to be readable, and it can't be too big. It can't be too small. So I'm kind of centering in on this design here. These are all 128 by 128. And so here I took a version, this is probably the closest version here, where you can see the C laser, F missile, and flamethrower. And if you look at this here, yeah, you can start to see. I tried it with the diagonal corners, of course, and the thing is, was words, preferably in a lot of cases, some of the words, if it's one letter abbreviated plus that, it's easier to understand, but we still have the ability to to have a bit more abbreviation plus a description of the wheel. Like instead of demon wheel, it'll be D wheel, right? So exploring kind of just what a circular thing would look like there. But let me see. So then I took from the corner designs where we're using those hooks, and then I basically expanded the inside border here and that kind of the visual plate. And then took a little bit more of the top and bottom for essentially the frame itself. And so we had a couple of those explorations. And then, you know, the thing is that this, you know, this only gives you so much space vertically for, you know, for the words themselves. And also being able to like look at the chain laser homing missile flamethrower, right? So there's a good version of that. Yeah, so here's what that winds up looking like here, right? So chain laser homing missile flamethrower. So it's readable at this size, but it's a little, you know, it's more for the young eyes. So, but that gives me at least the option. And I think, you know, if I go with the abbreviated, so we have less characters, then we wind up having something like this. But it gets me thinking again, just, you know, it would be pretty cool if we had these top elements and if they rotated, but only in like 4 frames. And I think we could probably pull it off with a 4-frame animation. That would give the whole thing a lot of, I think, a lot of visual and like pleasure and just in seeing the thing move. And it justifies kind of the pixel usage, right? So, but I also suspect that our design needs to come in just a little bit more to give, because you can take a look here, right? Here's a version where I took off these pieces, and I went with basically still leaving some space here for the plate itself. So we still have some room, but we have a little less design room. But this gives a really nice, readable, I think, description. So, and taking a look at that, it's kind of what this looks like, right? So if you look at these, this kind of 128 by 128, now the challenge becomes, how do we get a design in here? We can probably, I think I want to take advantage mostly of the horizontal space. So we have the flexibility there, but we might be able to come in just, you know, a few more pixels. So it might look like something like this, where the frame can come in a little bit and we have maybe that much space to play with on both sides. But yeah, I think that's the challenge, right? So I like the shape designs, but I think what I'm asking you to do is, let's see now with this plate design in 128 by 128, I'll upload this file for you as well. Let's get the design around this, because really at the end of the day, I like the pixels, but knowing what weapons you're going to pick up in combinations is definitely key. I also took the opportunity to explore a bunch of other aspects, like I said, like the you know, the ring frame here, maybe a little heavier metal style there. So there's some things there. I wasn't super stoked with any of these. I went probably way too far down the hole on a bunch of them. But coming back, I think that the main takeaways here are that I'll give you this plate. Let's get an updated design that takes into account these elements, but gets them a little bit more factored in with just the amount of space we have left, right? While keeping the plate and the visibility as readable as possible in this case. And then we should plan, and that's kind of what I was doing with this year. Plan basically what kind of like a 4-frame animation would look like, or, you know, 2-frame or 3-frame. I did this thing. This thing didn't turn out nearly as good as I wanted it to, but I just like, well, maybe we could do like an arcing laser thing. But you know, we could do this thing where we have essentially these pylons. Second. So I just very rough, like just pixel pylons that we could maybe do a pylon design on the edges. And then we could do 4 frames of sort of like, you know, pixelated electricity that arcs, and begin, this is kind of how it gets laid out, right? So we only have so much space in, you know, around the frame itself. But I think those are the main things. So yay us, we're gonna have 48 weapons. They're gonna look awesome. I'll give you a video pretty soon once I got all these wired up. The next thing I'm doing now is, in this test level, I'm gonna set up all of the power-ups and then start to mix match the weaponry, and then we can see the power-ups and then the weapons. So it's just like a test bed for this as well. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for turning this around, and I'll talk to everyone soon. Bye. What is my OBS? It's over here.